I can't tell you that today is going to be perfect. I can't tell you that the sun is going to be brighter than it ever has been. I can't tell you that tomorrow is going to come for you. But I can tell you this, that if you don't keep moving forward, if you don't get out of bed, if you don't open your eyes and start moving, you will never find out. It's not your fault that you were born broke, that you were born on the wrong side of the tracks, that your dad didn't love you, that your mom wasn't there for you, that your whole entire family abandoned you. But it is your fault if you don't get up and you don't keep walking and you don't keep pushing that boulder up the mountain as hard as you possibly can. You know why? Because ain't nobody else gonna do it for you. It's time to put the big boy pants on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to work.
What's going on? Welcome to the DC Journey. I'm your host today, Mr. Drew Craig. That's what I go by. Hope you're having a great day. I get the privilege, it's a pleasure, of introducing a good friend of mine today. You ever get those calls like a couple months out of high school, going into college, and like it's always like, hey Bill, you ready to make some money? What you doing, man? You need to make extra money. And how annoying those phone calls can be. You know, I think we've probably all been there, more than we probably wanted to. I don't know, but you get those. You know, you get to the time of year where it's like, man, the month is ending faster, or the money's ending faster than the month, and you've got to find a way to make more money. And a lot of people. A lot of people try these little businesses and never have any success. But today, we get the privilege of talking to one of my really good friends who was the person that actually got me involved in network marketing, 10, 15 years ago. And we actually had a little bit of success. Now, today I've got to throw this out there that this is not something where like I'm having you on the show so I can build my business or something. This is like, I don't even know all the details of what you do, but I want to bring you on, man, because I think what you do in this industry is phenomenal. I think that the network marketing industry is something that if people are looking to make a couple extra bucks, $100, $100,000, I don't know what it might be. It's something that I think people should look at. And so, I'm going to introduce my buddy Joel McNinch, and Joel, give me like the 30-second spiel on who you are.
Joel McNinch, Austin, Texas. I started in direct sales or network marketing, Andrew, when I was 19. I'm 49 now, so I've got 30 years, 3 decades of experience in the industry. Never really meant to do that. I just wanted to make some extra money, but 1,000 a month became 2, and 2 became 5, and 5 became 10, and 10 became 100, and the rest is history. So I love what this industry's done for me, and I kind of take pride in helping other people secure themselves financially, whether it be that extra $100 a month or a week or whatever. Right, full service broker here.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I can't even remember like how long ago it was. Was that 12 years ago? 15 years ago?
I'm gonna say like maybe right around 07 I met you.
Gotcha.
Could have been right around there, 08.
Yeah,
right
and so I had no clue who you were. Like, so we're my wife and I were in the middle of, I was living in one town. We were building a huge house in another town. It had to be right before 2008.
Yeah.
And so we're doing our thing, and I'm employed by a company, and I'm doing some sales and some development and a lot of other things. And it got to the point where we were going to expand into another territory. And the owner of that company, who's a really good friend of mine, was like, hey, I know this is the plan, but I think you're going to have to do it without being a part of this business. And so it was either, hey, I lose a friend or I lose a job. And so I came home and didn't have a clue what I was going to do. I basically lost my job. And as I pull in, my mom and my brother, they'd been calling me like for the past, like prior to that, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like, hey, we want to talk to you about something. Oh, cool. Why don't you just talk to me about it and quit acting freaking weird? Immediately, I'm like,
Spidey senses.
my good Lord, dude, what are we about to sign up in?
Right.
And so I had no clue. We had toyed around with some network marketing companies prior to that, selling soap and some other stuff that like they promise the moon and then they deliver nothing. And there's a bunch of those out there.
Yeah.
But I rolled up, my little bitty house. My first house was $125,000. And so I rolled up and I see my mom's car. My brother came all the way in from Houston. And like there was a Lexus there. Like I think you had a little bitty silver Lexus back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, who the heck is this? And everyone's acting weird. I show up. You're at my house. And we watch you were like, you played a DVD. Mm-hmm. And it was a DVD of you talking. And it was like, hey, we're just going to watch this thing. And I'm looking at it. And it's the first, for me, it was the first network marketing company that I had ever seen that made sense. Mm. And that's because it was like things that everyone needed. Now, you look at like, I don't want to bash other companies.
I shouldn't, but I know where you're going.
No, I want to speak very openly.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, I mean, well, they're not going to sue you. People can sue me, I guess. I had seen Amway. I'd seen Herbalife. I had seen, there's a couple. What was the financial one back in the days?
A.L. Williams.
A.L. Williams.
Primerica.
That turned into Primerica. I'd seen some of those. I'd seen my parents go through it and never made any money. Now, going into my senior year of high school, like as I exited high school, because I was I had a little bit of success financially through my company. I was kind of being paraded around because I was, I looked a little bit more successful than the average 18-year-old.
Right. Had
a little bit more of a resume than some people.
Yeah.
And I remember like we signed up a bunch of people, never made any money, but like I had a huge team. Yeah. And so you had people in Austin that were like parading me around like I had just struck gold. And I'm like, yeah, guys, I'm waiting for that first check. Tell us about it. No, it was like $8.33.
Oh, man.
And he never really made anything other than that.
Yeah.
And so you look at that company, and that's like modern day Amazon. Mm. And so they have every single thing that you could possibly want,
right.
Except you don't really have to sign people up to get your product and stuff like that through Amazon.
Yeah.
That's essentially, I think, what that company wanted to do. And so I didn't really have a sour taste in my mouth because of that. Yeah. The next thing, I think we did some electricity companies and made a little bit of money off of that. Got to like the highest level, just by telling a couple friends, signing up a couple friends. And, I never really had any of that resistance where it's like, oh, that's a pyramid scheme, or, hey, man, it's, only the people at the top make the money. I never had any of that because like my friends at the time trusted me, and they wanted to make some extra money too, and it made sense. And so when you showed up at my house, first of all, I had no clue who you were, because my parents, or my mom at the time, and my brother really didn't have a clue how to talk about network marketing. And so they were real hesitant about things. Mm-hmm. And so you showed up, I'm looking at this stuff, and it was like, hey, cell phones. You pay your cell phone bill, right? Cool, that's a product. Then you had some vitamin stuff. That wasn't really a big deal, but it was like service-based companies and TV service. And I was like, man, this makes sense. Like I could literally open up a business, sell this whole thing through my friends, and make some money. And I think very quickly, I don't know if it was 30 or 45 days, like when I started, like I had replaced my income at my job, and I just started doing the other stuff full time, and I stopped looking for a job. And so me and my wife were like, this is stupid. Like we're going to be those people. And so meeting you, like, dude, we traveled all over the place, doing meetings and stuff like that. And so let's walk through that company before we get into kind of what you're doing now.
Sure.
Walk me through like network marketing. Why is it negative? Why is it positive? Why do people have success? Why don't they? So let's take a couple minutes and just talk through that.
Yeah, no problem, Andrew. It's a pretty broad question, but I think there's a lot there, we can kind of drill down on. What I love about network marketing is it's something anyone can do, right? So I don't need any money to start it. Like when I started, I was a broke college kid, 19 years old. I had nothing, but I had $200, and that's what it was, my investment to start that business. And so I saw the guy that introduced me actually making a couple bucks, and it wasn't millions. I mean, what got me was the guy made a $400 check, and he actually showed it to me. And I know, that could be viewed as enticement or whatever, but I asked him straight up. I said, hey, have you made any money at this? Because I was like you. I didn't know anybody that was making any money doing this kind of crazy stuff. And the people that I had seen making money were on some stage and just aloof, and they were like, I don't know, something you see on a Hollywood movie set or something. I was like, I need to see somebody that I know making money. So he showed me a check for $400. It was a coworker, and it was an older guy. He was 65. I thought, man, if this guy can make $400, I can maybe do at least that, because I'm 19. I move faster than this guy. And where we worked, like we were in a sales job at a furniture store. I was the top salesman part-time. This guy was like the worst salesman part-time, with all due respect. And I thought, okay, this dude is making $400. I might be able to make $800. So that's all that got me. Was I saw the investment was small. Somebody I knew was making a couple bucks at it, and I at the time needed a couple bucks. Like I really did. I was broke, college kid, paying my way through school, yada yada, whatever. So I got started, and I had all those problems that we all have, because I had joined the soap thing prior to that too, and that was the only thing that I knew about was the soap thing. I didn't even know there was other companies other than the soap thing, and I had scared everyone on the planet that I knew away from me, because I'd hit them up with the soap thing or dragged them to a opportunity meeting, or some of the tactics, honestly, that I learned in that company were kind of bush league, right? Jumping out of the closet and surprising you, for bringing them something, not telling them what it was. That's honestly what I hate about this industry, is that, it could be viewed as deceptive,
right.
And that doesn't sit well with me. I want to be transparent, open with my friends. I don't want to be freaked out or weird or have it, you know what I mean? Like, who wants any of that nonsense? So that was really what turned me off, but he was really open with me when he told me about it, and he made money, which got my attention. I thought, hey, that's the great equalizer. And I started building that business. So didn't have a lot of success there because, like I said, I'd scared everybody. But after a while, I found some people and things took off and whatever. So I love it that it doesn't cost a lot of money. I love it that they'll train you, teach you, coach you. Like all that stuff's available. You don't have to pay for it. In this society, there's a lot of coaches, right? Like life coaches. And I'm not down on the life coach thing or whatever. If you want to pay somebody $10,000 to tell you how to live, giddy up. But, when I grew up, it was called like parents, right?
Right.
It was called like, like elders, or anybody would give you advice because they cared about you.
Yeah.
And guys, if that's what I love about this. It creates like almost a societal hierarchy. If you don't have one, you can, I don't want to say this replaces the family, but you can kind of get some coaching, get some advice, financially speaking, maybe health-wise if you're in a health and wellness company, from people who know and have a vested interest in helping you.
Yeah.
So there's a community aspect to it that's great. And there's also a community aspect to it that's, like I was all stocked up on friends prior to doing this stuff. I was like, I didn't need friends. I didn't need a social life.
Yeah.
I had plenty of that. But to be honest with you, Andrew, the people I were hanging around were turkeys. I was hanging around a bunch of broke, college kids that were beer drinking crazies. And I love doing all that stuff, don't get me wrong. But at that time, nobody in my life had any ambition or wanted to do anything different other than drink beer and chase chicks,
Yeah.
And hey, I'm a fan of drinking beer and chasing chicks in my day. Trust me there,
Right.
I had a desire, a little spark in my heart to do better. Like I wanted more for my life than I had growing up for my future family and stuff, So this presented itself as an opportunity. So yeah, there's good and bad. There really is in this business, in this industry, and you can kind of take what you need and leave the rest. I try to avoid the bad stuff, and if there is something bad, set my distributors up. Let them know the pitfalls, because I've been there, done that. Right? Yeah. So those are just some of the things.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the people that, like, we've had professional football players, like on you probably do now, but I remember we signed up some professional football players like several years ago, and like they took off, and some people that like we became friends with, some people we were like, I can't believe you exist in life. So that we still kind of joke about. Man. But dude, like you have this insane ability to kind of like communicate with people and like not only show them the business plan,
Yeah.
but encourage them to where they feel like they can accomplish anything. And so most of these companies, I studied network marketing in college. And so when people would be like, oh my God, that's one of those little pyramid deals. Oh my God, you'll never make any money. You're going to lose everything you've ever owned. I'm like, dude, I don't really own a lot right now. I'm 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
And, when you first get into these businesses, what kept me going, like back in the day, was, well, I studied these things in college. So, like, some of them have to work. Some of them might be stupid, but some of them have to work. Like, for me and you, if you came to me right now and were like, hey, bro, like, what do you know about eyeshadow? What do you know about, like, I don't even know all the stuff. But if, like, Sephora came to us, hey, man, we want you to sell this. I am not going to win. But when you come with a product that's, like, life-changing, it's... you can use it, and it's not some hype business. Like, it's a great opportunity, and there's tons of businesses out there. And so as you went from, the what did you call it? Phone, not the phone. It was the phone company.
Like the first company,
Yeah.
It
You
was
went from that
Excel out of Dallas, long distance company. Yep, communications.
You went from that to something else, and finally met, a guy named Paul Orberson. Can we still talk about him?
Yeah,
like Paul.
for sure,
like
yeah.
I know I met him several times. The dude's a freaking genius. Rest in peace.
He died 9 years ago yesterday.
Oh, did he really? Wow.
Yeah.
Like he always had these little sayings, man. Like it was like he had some stuff on opinions. He had what did he say about a frog? Do you remember that one? Like,
if a frog had pockets, it would carry a gun and shoot snakes.
Yeah, I never understood what that meant, bro. Like, but there's a lot of people that will hear this, because we have an audience of 7 people right now. So, I'm just kidding. There's an audience of people that are going to be like skeptical of these businesses.
Sure.
Some people that are like, oh, I tried that, never made any money. You are like what I call a career direct sales person.
Yeah.
And you've seen every excuse. What's the most frustrating piece, like about your business, about network marketing, like for you?
Well, the best thing about it is it's cheap, and the worst thing about it is it's cheap. It's too easy to quit.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. Have you ever heard the term hopeless romantic?
Yep.
Say, I'm a hopeless romantic, and I kind of feel that way in this business, right? Like, the romantic part is you love everybody and want everybody to be successful and see everybody at their full potential. And,
right.
oh, man, everything's just roses, right? But the hopeless part of it is that's not the case. People are going to quit. They're going to quit on you. They're going to give up. They're going to get negative. There's something that's going to take them out. And that's the hopeless part, right? So as much as you love, like, I've learned to believe in everybody but count on no one.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that's some sage advice if you're going to participate in this industry.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you brought a couple different things for me.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I'll actually go back a little bit. So when I started 75 Hard February of last year,
Yep.
You called me and were like, hey, dude, I'm going to send you some stuff. And what you sent me was, you sent me some of this. This is superfood shake. And it's 26 or 24 grams of protein. It's got a bunch of different things. I'll hold it up here. But this is like, would you call this a meal replacement shake? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's for sure a 100% meal replacement. Yep.
And then I forget everything else that you sent, but right now we take every single day this adaptogen.
Oh, that stuff's legit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we take collagen, and then we take nootropics. Is that what?
That's why your wife looks so good when I walked in. She's taking right.
Yeah. She's well, I mean, dude, she's like the health nut in the family. Like I'm like, there's too, if the word's too big and I can't spell it, I can't say it. I don't want to talk about it. And so, like, there's a couple different things that we take every single day that you've sent us that, like, I didn't have to pursue my wife and be like, hey, so Joel wants us to take this. I mean, it's pretty easy when I say, hey, can you check this stuff out? Joel sent us a bunch of crap. And she's like, yeah, I've been researching some of this stuff on her own,
right?
Not through Isogenics.
Right.
And then today you come in and you brought in, let's see this. Let me see if I can get that right there.
Oh, right there it is.
Yeah, look at that, dude.
Adaptogen energy shots, man.
Yeah. So what is this?
That's just a little like healthy, like quasi 5-hour energy thing. So you can take it and get some natural adaptogenic energy.
Yeah.
There's some green tea extract in there. It'll definitely grow hair on your chest, but you don't get that crash like you do with other stuff that really stimulates your your neurosystem and then crashes you on the back end. So
yeah. So
I
a
love
little
it,
bitty
man.
bottle like this.
Yep.
And so that's cool. So like, how do you go about talking to people? And you brought some. What is this? Amped.
Those are like healthy Gatorades for you and your kids.
Oh, so cool. You just put this in like an 8-ounce bottle of water.
Yep. Like right here,
Yep.
I'm drinking a blue one right now.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
How do you go about talking about this stuff? Like if I'm brand new,
Yeah.
never been in network marketing, but like, I saw a story. I mean, dude, there was on your timeline the other day, there was some lady that lost like 45 pounds on this stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, well, dude, I want to lose 45 more
Right.
pounds, how does this whole thing work?
Yeah, so like, again, I've never sold products either until like I was with one company for 10 years, service-based. That always made sense because essential services, people need them, right? Company went out of business, went bankrupt. Was with that second company where I met you 10 years, and that company had legal issues. They went out of business, So the problem with those companies were that the margins are so small in services, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like a race to the bottom. It becomes a
Right.
commodity and cheapest provider, and really nothing else matters except the price point, which I get, services are services. Like this stuff here, cell phones now, you got all these different Cricket and Patriot Mobile and who cares? It's all AT&T, Sprint, it's all the same fiber optic network, Verizon, whatever. It's just who are you gonna give your money to, right? So what I realized is I was introduced to these products about 10 years ago, right when that other company went out of business, by my friend Paul. Paul had been mentoring a kid in Kentucky, and this kid was making stupid money, and he was a coach and whatever. And I went begrudgingly because I didn't believe in any of this stuff. I thought it was all witchcraft, know. And so my wife's a nutritionist, right? She's got her master's degree, super smart, reads labels, real healthy like your wife, all that. And so I looked at the products, and I came home and said, hey, tell me why this stuff's garbage so I can tell these guys go away, She said, this is nutrition for dummies. You should start taking this. And I'm thinking like, okay. But at the time, I was a chub scout. I was overweight. And all, so I started taking the products. Man, I lost 40-plus pounds in 90 days and just got my mojo back. At 39 years old, I felt like a new guy, right?
Yeah.
So I became passionate. And I think that's the key thing, Andrew, is, be a product of the product, right? So if somebody's introducing you to whatever, if you fall in love with the product, it's super easy to share, Andrew, because it's authentic. It's part of you. It's your ethos,
Yeah.
You believe in it. So you got to develop a belief in the products, and that will serve you well. If you're just in it to hustle and don't really care what the product is, I think people can kind of see through that,
Yeah, that's good. So I just want to clarify something because people are watching the Drew Craig journey.
Yeah.
You keep calling me Andrew.
Oh, right. True.
And I'm trying to figure out why. No, I'm just kidding, dude.
I can tell you why.
My mom, dude.
That's how your mom introduced me to you.
Yeah, no, she's like, what's DC stand for? I'm like, that's my name. She's like, no, your name is Andrew. I'm like, yeah, no. You're probably one of like 4 people that still call me that.
No way.
Yeah, which is, what I mean, I don't really hang around a lot of people from the past, but
from the past.
you know what it is? Like when I went to my high school reunion a couple of weeks ago, probably a couple of months ago.
Those were some epic pics, by the way.
Bro.
Awesome.
We had a good time. It was great just kind of seeing everybody. But everyone there has seen me and like seen videos that we've done. Yeah. And they're all calling me Drew. And I'm like, this is odd. Because like my name tag says Andrew on it. And so anyways, yeah, so let's get back on track here. So I
love that effect, man. That changed the game, dude.
Dude, I know.
Game changer.
So one of the things that I love is like Isogenics like publishes all of their income people.
Yeah.
And so like, not that I'm gonna tell everybody like what you're making and stuff, but you're not making like broke Uncle Bob money. You're like you've made some income here. You're listed on their 6-figure earners list for the year of 2021 and 2022. Mm-hmm. You can scroll down, and Joel McNinch is there, and then also on your team is like other. I recognize some of these names: Joanne and Joel McNinch and Bob DeCant. I
Yep.
remember them.
Yep.
There's Joel McNinch. I thought I saw Rich Miller here.
Rich, yeah.
Rich Miller. And so I'm seeing some of these people that have like familiar names, and like, dude, it's you know a thing or two about this.
Yeah.
And so like it's one thing to have products that you believe in, but if you don't have a business that you also believe in, it's
Right.
kind of hard to partner those and pair those together. And like you've got to, initially you convince your cousin to get in this business, and then you convince someone else, and then after you get a paycheck, now you're like, hey, I'm going to go talk to my head coach from back in high school days, or I'm going to talk to one of my teachers. I know they're broke. What is it that I need to do? Not me personally, but like me as someone that never has touched network marketing. So I get in this business, and what's next? What do you tell me to do?
Well, I think the key thing is, number one, find a mentor, right?
Okay.
So if the person that signed you up, like when my first company, the person that signed me up was, didn't have a clue. They were well-meaning, but didn't really have a clue. So I had to hunt above him and find somebody who knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
That guy happened to be in Florida. And at the time, I lived in Michigan, right? So it was
Yeah.
a phone game. I was learning over the phone. Hey, what do I do? What do I do? So, number one, find a mentor that can walk you through it. And number two, follow the model. So whatever the compensation plan is, like, X leads to Y leads to Z, whatever those dots are, you need to connect the dots. And I think a lot of people get off in la land in a business like this, and I'm going to a conference, I'm doing this, okay, whatever. What rank are you, right?
Yeah.
What's the next rank? What do you have to do to get there? Those are
Yeah.
the things that matter. All that other stuff, that extra 10% is important, the events and the connection and the belief and all that stuff. But the rubber meeting the road and following the model and connecting the dots are really the 90% game, Andrew. That's what you've got to do to be successful.
Yeah.
And work with a mentor to hold you accountable, taking those action steps, connecting the dots.
Yeah, I think with brick and mortar businesses, like there's a lot of people that can get in this, and they're like, hey, I'm just going to order $5,000 worth of stuff and sell it out of my store. I don't know that has. I don't know that I have ever seen that ever work. Now I've got some friends that are chiropractors. I've got some friends that like own little personal like private practices, and they sell stuff like out of their gym or out of their little clinic. But that's not the main ingredient of their business. You know what I'm saying? And so like really developing a big team of people to push more product is the way to go. Is that correct?
Totally. And that's the appeal to this, right? Like a lot of network marketing companies promote huge buying up front, right? It's called buy a lot and let it rot.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew, come join my deal. It's $10,000, right? And then you got to open up a shake shop or something ridiculous to move the product, right?
Right.
Well, that's not appealing to me. If I wanted to do that, I'd just buy a franchise or do whatever,
Right.
right? So what's cool about this is I can start, and my basic product use is what I'm consuming, what I'm eating. So my overhead's essentially zero because I'm consuming it, a couple $100 a month, whatever, $150, whatever. And then I want to find other people to do the same, right? There's an old saying, J. Paul Getty said, I'd rather have 1% effort of 100 men versus 100% of my own efforts.
Right.
And that still holds true today, right? So if you can just start and involve a few who involve a few, and you can kind of build this team, really per their compensation plan, the sky should be the limit, because you can get a little percentage of everybody's action versus your own, just what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's way more leverage and residual, way more lucrative than buying a lot and letting it rot, man.
Yeah, I think that in business, I think back at network marketing and compare that to like my company now, and I'm way more serious about my business now because of my experience in network marketing. And so like here at our company, like we want to do the same thing that you're doing in your business. Like I'm the CEO of the company, and so if you look at like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme, like I'm the CEO
Right.
of the company of kind of all three companies that we own, and like my goal is to get as many people on my staff making a very, very good income.
Right.
And so, and then people are like, oh, it's only the people at the top that make the money. Well, that's really true in a lot of ways.
Yeah, get to the top.
However, that's absolutely correct. Like you look at school districts.
Yep.
Is the superintendent making more money than the third grade English teacher?
For sure.
I'm I'm hopeful because the third grade English teacher, with all due respect to that teacher, she's not in charge. He's not in charge of 600 employees.
Yeah.
That person is in charge of making sure that those 25 kids, don't choke on a marble, and then making sure they know their math,
Right.
and making sure that they know how to count and color and their vocabulary. The superintendent should be making more money. However, in network marketing, the unique thing is, like, I could sign up today and very well go out and potentially make more money than you.
It's true.
In the next 6 weeks, 6 months, to a year. And so that's what's pretty awesome. And so, like, it's not always the people that got in first that make money. I remember Roel Morton. I don't know why that guy just popped up. Roel Morton, was he law enforcement, or was that his brother?
That was his brother Donnie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So he got in a company, and like he was like the number one money earner, I think, in Fortune way back in the days, but he didn't get in first. So how is that even possible?
Yeah, well, compensation plan, right? So as a matter of fact, I experienced that this weekend. I was in Indiana doing a big event, for my team up there. We had a guest speaker come in. It was an awesome lady named Cindy, a stay-at-home mom kind of gal. She's been with our company 10 years, and she's made $3.7 million in 10 years, right? And she's awesome. She's just the sweetest, like an angel of a lady. But she got all teary-eyed because the lady that enrolled her just last week ended up becoming what's called a legacy member, where you make your first $1 million in lifetime earnings or whatever.
Yeah.
So the lady called her, and you figure $1 million over 10 years, about $100,000 a year if you average it out. But this lady was just a fitness instructor, mom, just whatever, never made six figures, nothing. And she called Cindy, and Cindy got all teary talking about saying, "Hey, you changed my life." And that was her enrolling sponsor, right? That got in before her. So you just never know, man. It's effort. It's the compensation plan kind of mitigates people getting rich by accident. Most of them do anyway if they're set up correctly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I love the freedom that it has, because like for my business, I mean, dude, we don't make, like, I know exactly to the penny what we have to spend every single month. And I know what we have to make in order so those spendings don't consume us.
Right.
And like I met with a company the other day. We're doing some consulting for them and redevelopment of like a new company. They were a tech company, and they acquired another tech company. That tech company that they acquired had 1,400 employees on 3 floors of a building, and so they're occupying like 100 and maybe 90,000 square feet, maybe 200,000. That should have been an easier number to say. Yeah. 200,000 square feet of this facility, and dude, their rent every single month was 700 G's. Wow! And then on top of that, they had a parking lot clause that was 100,000. So for them to use the parking lot.
Wow.
And not to mention that's nothing.
Dang.
That's $800,000 a month before you buy desks and tables and internet, before you buy chalkboards and TVs and payroll and equipment and computers. And so I'm walking through this facility. Dude, there is millions upon millions of dollars just sitting there in stuff that's going to ruin over the next 5 years.
Wow.
Desks, chairs, carpet.
Yeah.
And so I think about that, and I'm like, we're nowhere, by the way, our spending's nowhere near that.
Right.
But I'm like, when you think about going into business, man, I want to be successful. I want to build a team of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, the money that it takes to do that is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I look at like network marketing companies, I feel like, dude, at any given moment, you can get into any of these companies and really make a name for yourself.
Sure.
If you are driving down the road right now, listening to this, and like you don't have 10 friends that will like, "Hey, can I take you to lunch? I want to talk to you about something." If you don't have 10 friends that'll go to lunch with you, you need to start looking for more friends.
Hello.
I think through, when you die, who's going to carry your casket?
Right.
And if it's not Carrie, who's going to push it down the aisle? Who's going to show up to your funeral? And if you really, really cared about it, this was the big deal for me when I was on your team several years ago. I didn't fully believe that I was capable of being successful. Let me say that again.
Right.
I looked at myself in the mirror, and I didn't think that success would run through me. I come from a broken family.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have all the money growing up. We had everything I think we needed. But dude, my parents sacrificed so freaking much, man, for us. And like getting out of what we were doing, though I didn't know it was crazy or bad or we were poor or whatever, getting out of that meant I could sell drugs. I could join a gang.
Yeah.
I could play sports. I could play, I could go professional sports or whatever. Or what I found out was I could start a business. But the amount of money that I've invested in myself and in my business and in my wife and in our staff far exceeds anything that I've ever spent in the network marketing field. And so like I remember when like you showed me, because we had a heart to heart one time. I was like, Joel, like I don't believe you've made more money in a month than some people make in a whole year.
Right.
And you're like, well, dude, like I don't want to show this to you. Like it's like I'm egotistical, or I don't know how that whole conversation went, but like you showed me a check. I remember, and it was like $54,000 or something like that. And back in the day, dude, like that was like doctor money. That was 1 month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to probably get another one of those here in a couple of weeks, man. And,
Yeah.
Dude, that's sometimes that money, dude, is scary to certain people. Like,
sure.
I looked in the mirror, don't think I'm capable of doing this. So like when I go talk to my broke Uncle Bob or my rich uncle, I didn't have the confidence to really talk through all this stuff. And so when I met you, all of a sudden I'm like, I didn't think these businesses actually made money.
Right.
And so like you were the first genuine person that I had ever met, not to like, just ride your coattails here and be like, hey man, this is a great dude. I appreciate so much like what you've done for my life, even though you may not know that, like what you've inspired me to do, what you've, what you've led me to do, what you've taught me to do. And bro, you're a leader in a network marketing company. And for a majority of people, they don't give you credit. That not you personally, but like they don't give people in network marketing credit.
Sure.
But you've built tens of thousands, 20s of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in your organization now across the country and across the world. Because were you in Japan not too long ago?
Gosh, I've been to Asia a lot. I'm actually going to Europe next month, so I'll be over. Yeah,
which is
everywhere.
Which is crazy. So it's like you want to be in the right, on the right road to success here, but more importantly, like that road carries a lot of vehicles, and so like I think this is a really good vehicle for people to be in, and it's not like you have to teach people that hey, these work. Proof's in the pudding. Like historically speaking, like there's been a lot of people in Amway that have made a ton of money. Herbalife that have made a ton of money. Arbonne went up there.
Yeah.
Ton of money there.
Totally.
Ignite, Stream Energy, all those companies. ACN. I can't think of all the ones. I get hit up probably once or twice a month by these. But like, dude, you're doing something that is not the norm.
For sure.
And so like, I just want to encourage you, man, like to keep pushing forward and keep building those teams.
Yeah.
And like the success stories that are coming out, because you've got CEOs, you've got vice presidents, you've got presidents of things, you've got janitors on your team. Like talk to us about like why this is good for every end of the spectrum.
Yeah, no, Andrew, I appreciate the kind words. I mean, it's fun, and I got a call the other day from Preston, Preston from, I won't use his last name, but I hadn't talked to him in 10 years,
Yeah.
And
is that G?
Preston
PG?
G, PG. He called me out of the blue and super successful now, like yourself, owns a big bunch of rental properties and has 46 apartments and blah, 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 whatever. He goes, I want to thank you, man. I never had a chance to thank you. And I'm not big on me. I'm just, you never know what kind of impact any of us are having on somebody at any given time, right?
Right.
He's like, I owe all my success. I learned how to sell because of you, blah, blah, blah. So I went inside. I told my wife, I said, man, that was really cool. I said, like, if you never make any money, you can always do good for people, right? You can leave people better than you found them, I guess, right? Teach them stuff, like whatever. So that's what I love about this business. And like yourself, Andrew, I mean, I remember when we went to Wyoming, I took you to Wyoming one time. I had a team out there, and I can't remember what was going on, but I needed to be out in the lobby talking to some guy and his wife or something. And we had this room packed, man, with like 150 people, like in this auditorium, wanting to be trained, compensation plan. I said, hey, Andrew, you go do that. You're like, what?
Yeah,
so Andrew
funny.
goes, and you killed it, right? Like you came out of there, people are like, dude, like all my people are calling Andrew now for advice instead of me, which was great. But I knew you could do it,
funny.
I knew you could do it, right? And that's what's cool is seeing people step into their greatness, right? And really grow, right, as people. And, again, we're making money. We're not saving souls. We're not doing anything, huge or prophetic or anything. But we're showing people how they can do a little bit better and be a little bit better, right? And I believe everybody's got that spark of greatness in them. They just have to have somebody believe in them and nurture it.
Right.
Like blow on it, like ignite their fire,
And this is the time, like right now, dude, where everything is crazy. Like we don't know if the economy is going to fall flat next year or this month or, and so like what's an extra what's extra money to the person listening? Is it $100? Is it $500? Is it is it six figures a year? Because I'm looking through here, dude, on this list, man. There's a boatload of people, 5 figures. Let's see how low it goes.
Yeah. I think 50,000 and up or something on there, or is it?
Dude, there's just so many people.
I've never seen a company where people are making this kind of money. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've been around for a while. It's crazy.
I mean, bro, there are small business owners out there right now like that, and some of the stuff's in Chinese. This is you got people,
all over the world.
Yeah, so you got people all over the world making money in this industry, and so like how to like if someone wants to get more information, like what do you tell them? Listening to this, what do you tell them?
Man. Hit me up. Shoot.
Yeah.
HMG, bro.
How do they get a hold of you, man? Like, is it? I don't want to throw your cell phone.
Yeah,
out,
just hit me up on Facebook or whatever. I'm Joel McNinch, right?
Yeah, Joel
McNinch.
Yeah, Facebook, man.
Hit me up, Facebook, whatever, DM. So I know Drew. You guys hit up the DC show, whatever.
Yeah. We can send that stuff out. I'm kind of blown away because like you literally have a business that makes sense for a lot of people. So if people are trying to lose weight. This is good for them, and it offers like I don't know if I told you this. I did order off the site that 7-day cleanse.
Oh yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it was difficult to do,
Yeah.
but like it shook my system.
Yeah.
And
detox you.
And like day 2 was pretty bad. I started to get like severe headaches.
Wow.
I don't know why. It was just
detox.
Yeah, it was just detoxing, I guess. But day 3, 4, and 5, dude, I felt flawless. And then as I came off of the whole thing, I'm like, dude, I don't want to eat all this nasty crap that we're eating.
Yeah.
Like I want to stay healthy. And so like, I think that's when Jen ordered this stuff. And, we didn't order the 5-hour energy drinks. Energy is not something I struggle with, but,
right.
It's all about kind of being healthy.
Yeah.
And so, if the economy falls flat this next year, people are still going to want to be healthy. They're still going to want to lose weight. It's not like they're going to stop eating.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you guys have stuff for people that are trying to get in shape. You've got bodybuilder stuff. You got people that are trying to go through life transformation.
Yeah.
With severe weight loss, and then weight sustain, like what is that? Sustaining your weight. You've got everything in between that, and there's a whole other like boatload of stuff that I think you can order. I am obviously not the guru of this, but I am a very solid fan of this industry, but more importantly, like business development in general.
Yeah.
And so here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Every last 60 seconds
Sure.
of our show, we throw some hype music on here.
Oh, dude, let's get it.
And so for the person that's listening, that needs like a kick in the pants for 2023, we're less than a month away when I start this stuff, dude. Encourage them and tell them what you need them to hear. You ready for this?
Sure.
I'm going to go to a close-up. Here we go, baby.
Andrew, I believe that God didn't make junk, right? He made us. We're perfect in His image, right? And we are more than conquerors. We can do anything, right? Anything. We just have to believe that we can. And sometimes you need somebody to believe in you. And that's what I love about this show. We're here today to tell you that we believe in you. DC Journey is all about you punching you in the gut, telling you can do it. And guys, I'm telling you can do it. You just have to have the want to, right? And most importantly, you have to have a vision for your life, right? You can lose your dog. You can lose your job. You can lose your arm. You can lose your spouse. But don't ever lose your vision, Andrew. Let's do this thing.
Drew Craig over and out. I hope you have a very, very good day. And hey, make something happen today. Joel's always told me you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't do both. Over and out. Love you guys. Take care. We'll see you when we see you.